Well, here we go. It's wide open. We got 1 day and 35 food plots. It's go time. Well, here we go. Super excited. So season 2 of Testing Grounds, and I will say I feel like it's been very interesting from last year to this year. I know as everybody started coming back in, we kind of set the dates, and of course everybody gets busy. So it was heavy communication all fall, then everybody starts hunting, and then now all the text messages started back up. Hey, I'm planting this. Hey, I'm planting this. What are you thinking? And then as everybody's trickled in to the testing grounds here, the conversations just picked right up. Like, man, I'm planting clover over here. Hey, I'm doing bachelor pad. And so it's really unique because I feel like the Testing Grounds series has come across as a learning, because I wouldn't say experts by any means. Like it is, we have more opportunities to screw up than most.
Yeah.
So when you have as many opportunities to screw up as we do, you're going to get it right sometimes. And Absolutely. So I feel like a lot of times I don't get it right a lot.
Well, I can tell you from last season, it was not a confidence booster, I can tell you that, because it was tough.
I didn't do anything right last year.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now.
I found out last year I was the worst deer hunter and food plotter in the country.
In the country. Yep.
That was me.
Yep.
No matter how
many
steps of maintenance,
Yeah, I'm like, and everything Slade told me didn't work. Let me just tell you, okay?
Right.
Well, no matter how good your seed is, how good a quality seed you have, if you don't have moisture, it's not going to grow.
And that's the cool thing is this table having, of course, Slade is primarily in South Mississippi with the Hunting Land Man. Then, of course, Keith's with small town. We travel all over. DJ, Buck Commander guys, y'all hunt all over, but your core is Kansas and in the Midwest.
Kansas, Missouri, Midwest area. I mean, with non-typical, we do a lot, kind of all over. We still do a lot in the Southeast, but I mean, it seemed like it was the same everywhere. It just didn't rain.
That's right.
And if you don't get any rain, good luck.
I communicated a lot with Larry too, and he's got that section in Missouri that he's always trying to make better and better. And then talking to you were like probably the foulest person to talk to last fall. Because it's like, I went to Illinois, I planted. I mean, not going to get any rain. I'm not going to get it. I know it. I'm already planning on it. So it was everywhere. The whole communication was drought and rain. And when you bring a table like this together with all the different parts of the country, I think it makes it very relatable to the viewer. Because when you have this many people, like Slade may have got some rain in South Mississippi, he might be the one person, but the majority of it was drought. And I think everybody was faced with that.
Absolutely. Even our stuff in Missouri, we planted, and then you remember the flooding they had in North Missouri late last, we got that flood. And we had beautiful plots, but then the drought, like everybody else, and they almost burned up.
And the cool thing is we all had a plan, and I'm a analogy and a quote guy. Mike Tyson used to always say, "Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth." And we got punched in the mouth last year.
That's a fact.
That's what's probably the worst part about it is if we just gone out there and threw it together and been like, it'll work. And if it didn't work, that would have been on us. But when you're putting months and months and months of time and preparation and all of this stuff into it, then to just trying to scrape by because we can't get any rain, it's like, man, it's just such a, you're right, a punch in the mouth. I mean,
and that's probably the biggest thing is like, we're all rednecks, we're all hunters, like, we're still hunting. Like, we got to figure it out. Now the plots aren't lush, we're trying to plan, figure out plan Bs, plan Cs, and sometimes plan Ds, but, like here at the testing grounds, I was calling Blair, calling DJ, and, you start having, I had a ultimate plan to go one direction. You plan it, well then you don't get the rain, so then you're like, okay, well I can't let this sit, I got to come up with something else. And you're not just changing plans, you're changing what you're planting. It's a total, it turns into chaos. It really does.
And I think that, go ahead.
What I was saying was that's exactly what happened to me in Missouri. It was like we went in with the initial plant. I mean, nothing. And we had a little moisture right up there at the beginning. Stuff germinated, and then literally nothing for 2 months almost. And it was like, I was like, well, how are we going to salvage this? You know, I mean, how are we going to hunt this property? This is, you know, we're literally putting a plan together to be successful on this property, bring more deer in, hold them here, and it's like, there's nothing here for them.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go plant some cereal grains. You know, it's the only thing left to do. Or I'm going to try to salvage. And I was calling Blair, like, how do I salvage this clover? Because right now it just looks like little puny stems, you know, on the ground, you know, and all I could see the dirt, like literally.
And ours started early, even on the, you know, shield's kind of the beginning phase for us. Like, hey, we gotta be able to get in and out easily, and that way we can hunt a plot, not creating pressure. So shield was it's always a big project for us. And so, you know, me and Joey, we jump in there and it's like we draw all the outlines. We're gonna plant it in front of all the box stands, and boom, first rain. We look like farmers. You know, everything's coming up, come in.
It looked good on the way in.
Yeah. And you plant it. You go back in. We fertilized it. Like, we did everything right.
Yep.
No rain, no rain, no rain. Starts wilting. We lost it all. So, with the maturity dates on shield, we lost that entire plan. It was no come back, redo, replant.
Exactly.
It's we disc all that up. Like, we're done.
And I think the thing for the viewer to key in on with this is, you got, you know, 5 different shows or whatever here, and you notice we're fighting, scratching, clawing, doing everything we can to make sure that our food plots do the best we can.
Yep.
And the reason that we do that is because we all would agree that, hey, if our food plots do well, then that's our best chance to have a successful season, right?
Oh yeah.
And the thing with farming and planting and deer farming is that certain things are going to work at times, and then sometimes you're going to get punched in the mouth, like we talked about, and you've got to keep trying and keep trying. And through some of the trying, and through some of the stuff that maybe we've done in the past, we still found a few ways to win. Maybe not as many as we normally find, or as we would hope to find, but I think we still found a few ways to win by our continued efforts through failure after failure, but then eventually catching a little bit of luck and having some success.
No doubt. And that's you got feed states that you can feed, so you got that, you know, crutch to lean on. You can feed. A lot of states you can't. So, you know, it's a constant battle, you know, no matter what. And of course, you know, like Blair in your Illinois place, like, it's food plot or bust. And so you have to protect yourself from day one on that side. You know, like here, take velvet season. You know, we'll move into velvet season here. We had Larry in, and we had Willie. And man, I had the big plan. Like, I went in and planted.
The big plan.
I went in and planted Trophy Acre. We planted Sugar Rush. We had all the turnips put in early. We had shield where they could get in, you know, early season, get into the stand undetected. Everything's perfect. Well, here they come. You'll see these 2 velvet hunts. Take Larry's, for example, completely dirt. There was shield planted all in front of his box stand, you know, to ease into the Legacy HD, slide in, undetected, that's gone. It didn't come up. It still worked. So absolutely beautiful hunt. Velvet 8 comes walking all the way across the field, headed to Buck Trio at the time. I think is what it was. And you know, it still worked, but man, it was like, it went from what would be beautiful to the viewer, you know, like, man, they know what they're doing, to
he's walking in dirt.
You only had one problem with that plan, and this time it didn't rain on your parade.
Right. That's a fact. I was like, there is nothing here. And then, well, I knew that something may have been right because he's like, well, man, I'm not going to go back to camp. You care if I come sit in the blind with you?
I went with him.
And I was like, oh, we fixing to get on one now.
And he's going to sit here. He ain't sitting here not to see nothing.
Yeah, that's right. So,
Wow, how hot is it in here? Wow.
I was going to say, just swim the canal.
Man, we might have to upgrade the air conditioning units.
That's a fact. Oh, Cody's been sweating his hind end off. It's been hotter than donut grease down here, but these feeders have stayed full with. Back with what you're feeding now.
mix of Flame Kissed and Protein Plus. Is what's in there right now.
I got you.
And then it just slowly transition into like butt robber and stuff like that.
Right.
Still running protein for now.
And there's
But
great.
if you see, like, in the last 3 weeks, like, all the phones are, like, hanging out around them now.
All right.
And it's pretty cool to see. Easy as toes.
That's him.
What's the second book?
That's him. Yeah. I think it's that other one that's been with him, that heavy one.
Either one, both of them are sharing.
Okay.
The heat's in the front.
Yeah, the heat's gonna come, I think. Here it comes.
Oh, it stopped. Don't move.
Dude, oh my gosh. Dude,
I've never seen somebody hold a bow that long. That's gotta be 3 minutes.
man, I was struggling. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, when he got here, I was like, man, because when I got this chair kind of popped, and he just stopped and was keyed up, you know. So instead of shooting him out this window, I had to shoot him out that one. And thank God, this Legacy with that wide window,
I told you, I
it saved me.
understood why people don't. I mean, that's the perfect size window when you shoot out of every
Oh,
window.
it totally saved this hunt. Totally saved this hunt.
Dude, how pretty is he?
Oh my gosh, is he not a frame? You're like, man, he's probably gonna shock you when we see him. I was like, I know that other one was there, and he's a shooter as well, but man, this one being keyed up like that, I was like, we got it. I see it, yeah. He just got on this trail, yeah. Heck, yeah, look at this deer, Cody. Boy, went right through his shoulder. Now, oh my, that torch wrecked him.
Dude, look, it went through the back of the shoulder.
Mm-hmm, it did. We're all the way through it. Man, oh man.
Larry Mack.
Look at that. Look at that. Boy, that velvet is perfect. He's got a tick on his brow. Dirty things.
Dude, congrats.
Right here.
That is awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Willie, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Pretty velvet buck, boy. Look, that velvet's perfect.
Beautiful, yeah. That is a pretty deer.
this the one? This the one you've been getting pictures of?
Yep. Him and then there with a 9 too. Like I said, it's almost twin brothers. Willie was at Elfield, and he's got a little bit longer 3s, longer 2s, and a little bit more heavy. But I mean, it's very similar.
Man.
But this one came in to do it right.
He did. It's got good bases. Comes all the way up. Just a pretty Mississippi 8-point right here at the testing grounds. Pretty awesome right here.
Field's a large field. You're constantly, we've always been playing with the daylight game. Mm-hmm. And so that's been our decision is rolling in. Well, when Shield didn't come up, it was right at dark. And I told, after the first day, his same thing. I was like, Willie, we gotta come up with another plan. Well, it's actually that deer that's the shed sitting there. There was a deer, 3 years worth of history. I almost shot him with a bow when he was, I would say 5, my guess. You know, nobody truly knows, but I would guess 5. And way more massive than I ever thought. Looking at trail cam pics, I see him step out. I'm like, holy cow. Call to him, deer comes right by, 18 steps, no shot, walks right by us. Saw him a couple more times. Well, at the end of the year, another hunter saw him, said, hey, shed his side. I was like, God, that's early. January 27th. I won't ever forget it. It's like, man, no other deer shed. So story plays out. March the 11th, I had him on camera holding his side. March 12th, I never had another picture of him. I said, okay, well, he's still coming to the feeder, I'm sure. And, of course, we were feeding high cotton. And I'm like, I hadn't seen him. So roughly he shed March 11th, March 12th. Mm-hmm. Me and Joey go back there, look, could never find his shed. Next year, he shows up. And you know it's him immediately, super heavy Coke bottles coming out the bottom, and this one side's dragging. And I'm like, he didn't shed.
Broke out.
It got broke off. Yeah. So it ends up at 6, he grows that side, that's his 6-year-old year. He grows that side, super massive. This side grew a spike with a fork. That's all he had. Well, we knew that deer's not messed up. His genes are good. So we just said, hey, we know he's not probably ever going to come back. Let's let him go this year, and then we'll see what he does next year.
But he's still breathing.
Yeah, he's still breathing. And
good out of it.
You know, I know a lot of people like 8-point genes, you want 10s, but like I'll take an 8-point gene like that
all day long.
all day long.
A pickup truckload of them.
A pickup truckload of them. And so anyway, rolling into the 7, what we had him guessed at 7. And he shows up, and it's got that as big on that side, and then he's got 3 over here. Yeah. And I was like, man, we need to target him. Well, going back to the Shield play, didn't fold out at Elfield, and I start watching cameras. I said, Willie, we need to, like, there's a plot called Shady Patch. I said, it's always a good plot. That's where that deer's lived his entire life. That's where I almost shot him. I said, he daylighted yesterday. That's our best play. Larry's tagged out for Mississippi Velvet season. And so I never will forget it. We're sitting up there at the skinning shed.
I remember.
And ding, I look, and I'm like, he's there. Like, he's there. Like, it's about to happen.
Like he's walked by camera.
He walked by the camera. And like, I'm sitting there, and I'm going, you know, Willie's got a crossbow. And I'm like, I mean, he's in range. He's in range.
Well, we may have just broke the curse. Sometimes you got to break the snake bite with your own snake bite.
And finally, man, my phone rings. He's like, we got him. And, you know, absolute huge celebration. I was fired up. Because, you know, to us, to watching the deer from the 3 years, you know, to where he ended up, like, you know, when Willie picked him up, it's like, it's almost like slow motion. I saw him 3 years ago, you know, but it was unbelievable to see that deer stayed in the same location for 3 years. Now, all my screw ups, not getting this plot up, he didn't move his range. Like that's he whatever
right where he was
whatever
at.
cards I dealt with him, he took.